Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing new access map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 on the northeastern side of the map, and we'll end with Team 2 on the southwestern side of the map. Taking a look at Team 1's, let's go southern player first. We have in forest green, it is Delhi, but his name is actually Terrari. He is an Aeon for this match as a 2600. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall by a decent margin. So high value target for Team 2 to eliminate and for Team 1 to protect. To the north, we have in Snow White, blending in with his environment quite nicely. It is Ricky Tiki Tabby playing as a UEF. He is an 1100. To his northwest in Regal Purple, it is Dead Six playing as a Cybran. He is a 1400. In Orange Color Orange to his northeast, it is Legend Lord 2 playing as a Cybran as well. He is a 1700. In Batman Gray to his west, we have the Seraphim of God of War. He is a 1400. And rounding out Team 1, we have in Stitch Blue, it is Weed Whacker 1 playing as a UEF. He is a 1000 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 2 Cybrans, 1 Aeon, and 1 Seraphim, all of the factions represented on Team 1 side of the map. Taking a look at Team 2's western side first, we have in Chevy Crimson, it is the Cybran of Forgiato. He is a Cybran. He is a 1000 rated. To its east in Ruby Red, it is the Aeon of Signal Runner. He is a 1400. In Laddish Red Pink to his southeast, we have the UEF of Snowy 801. He is a 1700. In Royal Blue to his southwest, it is Death by Succubus playing as a UEF. He is an 1800. Definitely an interesting way to go out. To his east, we have in Barbie Pink, it is Wasp at 2020 as a Seraphim. He is a 1300. And rounding out Team 2, we have in Rust, it is the Cybran of Cascade. He is a Cybran. He is a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 2. And for Team 2's overall faction makeup, they have also 2 UEF. They also have 2 Cybrans. They also have 1 Aeon, and they also have 1 Seraphim. So the exact same faction makeup for each side of this game. So no advantages one way or the other. And for these 12 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 18,000 mass in reclaim, which makes it 1.5k mass per player. Definitely worth going after. In terms of the major reclaim locations, we do see a decent clumpage over here to the north and in the west up here. And then in the southeast, there's a couple of 300s, 200s, that sort of thing, but nothing like it is in the northwest. So probably a little bit more focus for the reclaim up here to the northwest, but the map does make up for a little bit, I'd say, lack in reclaim, a little bit in the mexes. There is a lot of them, and given the fact this is a snow map, very difficult to see the mexes actually on the map. So I put them on the minimap to the left-hand side of the screen. Hopefully that helps a little bit. But in terms of the mexes, there is a lot of mexes dotted along the middle of the map. We see 4 mexes down here, as well as another, 2 here, and 2 here, and then another, 2 there, 2 there, then another like 4-ish here, and then another 2 in the corner here. So there's really a lot of mexes along the middle of the map. So players are probably going to be just full sending it to the middle to try to claim all of those extra mexes. But in terms of clumpages, we do see a Trimex on the westerns. I think is that a Trimex? Yeah, it's a Trimex. It's even hard to see on the minimap there, which is what I'm using for reference. And I think that's about it for the most part. There is some mexes in the background, and I will note there is a quad mix in the background as well. So it looks like maybe another player could have joined each side of the map, but yeah, 6v6 is, 12 players. That's pretty good. We always like to have more players equals more chaos equals more fun, but, I like my 6v6s anyways. And in terms of where these players are headed off to, currently, we do see 2 players from Team 2 to the north, and looks like we have those same position players from Team 1 to the west or west-ish. One's heading more southwest, but we do see one heading directly west for that Trimax position. And in terms of the middle of the map, we have only one player from Team 2 headed that way. We have a second one from Death by Succubus moving that way, versus two players from Team 1 here in the middle with Ricky Tiki Tabby and Dead 6, who Dead 6 is going for a gun upgrade as we speak. Towards the east or southeastern side of the map, looks like maybe some Convicom action happened between not Delhi, but Terrari and Team 2's Cascade. He's going for a range upgrade. Actually done with that now, going for a speed. Nothing next to him. Definitely not the... I mean, it is super early, so it's not a terrible idea to just do it by himself, but definitely one of those not probably the best ideas to do this early. We do, at least by himself. We do see gun upgrade started for God of War to the north. Definitely makes sense, especially with the name. And he is next to a Trimax position in the middle as well. So, I did miss a couple of them, but it is just incredibly hard to see them in terms of mexes on the snow map. I feel like they should do kind of what they do with the GC laser, where they invert the colors. That way it's a lot easier to see. Or just make the mech's coloration just super dark, kind of like a dark green or something, just to see it easily. But anyway, we do see Cascade and Terrari going at it once again. Speed upgrade trying to be finished here soon, but Cascade still in the green and Delhi in the yellow. And we do see some Mantis inbound to assist. T2 Blaze now online for Terrari, trying to help thin those numbers out. But again, the Blazes aren't really known for their damage. It's known for its versatility with hover, which there's no pawns in this map, so not really a important distinction for that. We do see the shield was immediately canceled for Terrari, but again, he's already in the yellow. We have more Blazes inbound, and not looking good for him. Looks like some blockage, some booping trying to happen against Cascade to try to delay him from catching up to Terrari, which, it's going to be close. It might be a Control K murder-suicide situation. Maybe Team 1 bombers over the top, and yes, that's exactly what happened. Cascade Control Ks to secure the kill on Terrari's commander, which means, well done, says Terrari. So it's a nice move. It's a trade, so which means it's now a 5v5, still tied up game, but it does eliminate both of the highest rated players in the game before 10 minutes. So a little bit, it's always like to see those high rated players make it through the later stages of the game, because usually they like to do some crazy nonsense moves, which we love to see. But sometimes they are the first targeted, which obviously makes sense. T2 almost done here for Weed Whacker in the north, and gun started here for Team 2 Snowy. It looks like Death by Succubus gains the base for Cascade, and Team 1's Legend Lord gain. It's Ricky Tiki Tabby who gains the base to the eastern side. We do see that Team 2's Wasp is down here in the southeastern corner, just hanging out, just getting a little bit of reclaim. Nothing really too crazy. And there's a little bit of momentum now shifting into Team 2's direction due to the loss of APM over there from Team 1's Terrari, who I will not have to be confused with who he really is, because he named himself Delhi for whatever reason. Bombers over top, thinning out the hit points a little bit for Snowy 801. And he's being blitzed down by not Death by Succubus, but Dead 6's commander, Ricky Tiki Tabby, trying to catch up to assist. But, I guess there's a tiny smidgen of a pond here, but I don't think he'll be short enough to hide underneath the surface. We do see he's trying to stay online, but those bombers are really keeping it very difficult to do that. And Snowy 801 not looking like he's going to make it underneath the surface in time, and there he goes. Team 2 loses a second player at 8.5 minutes. It's now a 5v4 in Team 1's favor. And, Ricky Tiki Tabby's here from Team 1, not from Team 2, so that wouldn't have helped Team 2. Apologies for my confusion there. And Team 2's Death by Succubus gains another base, so lots of eco very, very quickly. He's not only is he not in, not only is he at 100 plus mass income, but he was almost at 200 there. It looks like he dropped maybe power issues. No? Maybe it was reclaim a little bit, but he is really jumping ahead in that eco, obviously driven by the amount of bases he's been getting. And partly because he gifted a base over to Signal Runner, it looks like. So he was going to be at 200 and then gifted it over. So two players on Team 2 at over 100 mass a second, which, again, is a decent clumpage to be ahead versus the players on Team 1. So those ecos are going to be skyrocketing pretty quickly. We do see some bombers inbound from Team 1 to thin out the advancing units from Team 2, but it's not really that crazy. There's still a lot of support from Team 1's Ricky Tiki Tabi here, so the Bombers were a nice assistance, but they weren't the end-all be-all. They weren't the most important thing because there were still forces on the ground. Now, if there was no forces there, that'd be a different situation. In terms of the other players moving around the map, we do see Team 1's Weed Whacker being a little bit cautious, building some PD to protect himself. Definitely a smart move there. Just slowly pushing in and conquering that northwestern corner. We do see God of War now up here near this little pond here. We do see that Signal Runner moving in out of the pond. It looks like intercept Dead Six's commander, and that's not going to be fun for either of them because both of them are in the yellow. 2-star vet versus no star vet. Both of them have the speed/range upgrades on board. And it looks like Dead Six is like, oh, I'll go for him right now. Might as well. And Signal Runner dropping to about 50% HP. Those bombers from Team 1 really not helping anything for these commanders for Team 2. And that's another kill from Team 1 to Team 2. It's now a 3v5 at 10.5 minutes. Team 2 not looking great in terms of the APM or the players left alive for the anything. And those bombers really just helping to drive those hit points down for Team 2's commander's western side. We do see a gun upgrade for Forgiato. He's done with it. He has a stealth upgrade also online. Looks like he's going for some auto guns to try to defend against the Team 1 striker inbound from Weed Whacker. Southeastern side, that momentum is shifting in Team 1's favor. Again, when you're cutting off half of the HP, but the APM for Team 2 within 4-ish minutes of each other, and going to be great for those outlying mexes. We do see nano upgrade has been started here for Team 2's Death by Succubus just to stay alive even a little bit longer and maybe try to just, again, annoy the bombers that are trying to do rain over top of them. We do see from Signal Runner 0 units from the... And he's just making a comment about what's going on that western side. It looks like we do see the bombers still annoying Team 2's... Oh, no, yep, they're inbound. We see them from Legend Lore, and we do see those forces. They have now made it past the defensive on the western side, going after some mexes that are definitely not wanting to be, shot at this point in the game. We do see that Team 2's Death by Succubus has 1, 2, 3, 4 bases, 3 extra ones. He's almost at 300 mass income. Everybody else is below 100. So he's really going to be pumping out all of those units or other stuff sooner rather than later. E2 upgrade started for Ricky Tiki Tabi in the middle. And the remaining commanders for Team 2 on the front line, there's one over here and one over here. And the other one for Team 2, oh, he's back here. He's back in his base. So really there's only 2 players on the front line for Team 2. And Team 1, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. The only one not on the front line is Legendor. And he's microing his T3 Air headquarters now, which I would assume Team 2 also, has T3 Air online as well. And those forces from Team 1's Ricky Tiki Tabi are pushing into the main base that once belonged to... Was that Snowy? I think this was Snowy's base, because this was Cascade, and this was Signal Runner, yeah. So that was Snowy's base. Wait, Yeah, was. I think was would be the correct statement there. Some T2 units now moving in to cut off the reinforcements from Ricky Tiki Tabi, just spamming up a ton of strikers out of these little Team 1 spam facilities. And look at all of the available mexes for Team 1 to grab on Team 2's side of the map. And this northwestern corner is looking very light on the everything for Team 2. And it is not looking good for them on that western front. Forgiato in the yellow. He's retreating back to base, or at least to defend on this probably hill section here. Yeah, it's just not looking good right now for Team 2. I will note that this game does go on for another 40 minutes. So a lot of stuff can happen at any point in the game. I do like the clumpage of spy planes just in case. There's a couple of random, T3 AA sites. So that way at least some of those spy planes make it through. And he actually spreads them out a little bit, which I do like. That it does take a little bit of APM to do, but he does have the time to do it just because he doesn't really have a lot of stuff to micro, at least as of right now. Except maybe the bombers that are over there to the northeast. You see that Team 2 is trying to just close up all of the holes. But even here to the east, there's really not a whole lot left from Team 2. And the eco-wise, still nobody has cracked 100 mass a second for Team 1. And Team 2, everybody else, besides Death by Succubus, is below 100 as well. Air grid being expanded upon as quickly as possible. Maybe we'll see a rush for maybe a nuke or something. Because, again, with all that extra eco, it might be worth it to try to kill off a base or two before Team 1 can react. We do see in the Northwest, God of War leading his Ilshis on the front line against the Rhinos of Team 2's Forgiato. We do see some gunships online for Team 2's Death by Succubus going after God of War. Again, since the death of Terraria, Team 1 has not suffered a loss. We do see some ASFs acting as a nice little screen for those gunships. We do see some interceptors trying to help out a little bit for God of War. And they are slowly whittling down those hit points, but again, when those gunships are designed for air-to-ground engagements, they do a lot of damage. One gunship is going to be taken offline here shortly, but I don't think it'll be before God of War's kill. Oh, actually it was, but just barely. So Team 1 suffers another loss. It is God of War. It's now a 3v4. Still in favor for Team 1, which means somebody else most likely... I think maybe Legendlord would get that base and maybe he'll keep it, but now he'll be over 100 mass a second. He actually jumps to 200, and Team 1 is now leading the mass income race at about 30 to 40 mass ahead. We do see Western Edge, a little bit of running by here from Team 1's Weed Whacker, just trying to be annoying. We do see some units building up some TMD and some PD, actually just all PD. I thought there was some TMD in there, but no, a bunch of tickle cannons. And again, they're a line of sight weapons, so any sort of hill will be annoying. But in the middle, Dead 6 being surrounded by some Loyalists and more gunships and everything else from Team 2. And that's going to be a double kill now for Team 2's Death by Succubus. Brings it to a tied game once again at 3v3. It's a little bit of revenge for his fallen comrades at 16 minutes. And probably not a triple kill, because those gunships are dealt with. We do see that Ricky Tiki Tavi underneath shielding and getting some air cleaners. Some T2 AA flak just to help out another gunship. That's not gonna do a whole lot by itself. But oh, did it actually hit the comm? It did hit the comm underneath the shielding a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. And now we see Legendlord gets another base. He's on triple base. Again, as a reminder, Ricky Tiki Tavi's on 2 bases, and then Weed Whacker's on 1. Those forces from Team 1's Weed Whacker have not engaged as of yet. They're just holding position. We do see some shielding being built on top of the hill there with some PD underneath it. And those engineers are going to get pretty close to that mechs wreck, which is where those units are stationed. So probably not going to be fun for those engineers just trying to feed their families. We do see some pillars running right into just a firing squad, for lack of a better term, from Team 1. PD, as well as the comm, of course, Ricky Tiki Tavi. He's now on 2-star vet because of that, so a nice little chunk of hit points for him. And another set of spam facilities to the east for Team 1, slowly being eradicated by Team 2's eastern players. We do see Wasp is over here dealing with those with some Ilshis of his own. He's just trying to thin out all of the annoyances. And now we're going to see, I think this kind of, not recoiling, but there's definitely a turtling happening for both teams. Team 2 has been in that mode for a while, but Team 1... Again, they have a little bit more map territory, a little bit by, I'd say a chunk a little bit more than just a little bit. But we're going to see probably just a slow kind of, build up some wall sections, build up some PD, shielding, all of that, just to, again, really protect everything. Oh, okay, or you're just going to go for lasers. So kind of the same thing, but not the same thing. Starting a laser now. Maybe, it's kind of a little bit early to go for teleporter. Maybe 25 minutes we'll see a teleporter. Maybe 30 minutes we'll see a teleporter from him. But definitely have to watch out for Team 1's Legendlord. And then the only other player who could do that is Forgiato on Team 2. Everybody else is either UEF or Seraphim, which means all the Aeons have died. And one of the UEF died from Team 2. And one of the Seraphim died for Team 1. And we do see gunships thinning out the rest of this force over here to the west. Didn't really do anything. Just clears the way for the engineers to build mexes and, of course, reclaim as much as possible. T3 units now starting to line the front line for Team 2. Lots of Loyalists. It's about a legion or so of Loyalists, I will admit. And again, they have TMD redirection, not TMD, they have TMR, tactical missile redirection systems on board. Very, very useful to deal with any sort of maybe Billy nukes or just spamming of missiles from Team 1. Eastern side, similar thing, just trying to again slowly whittle away all of the exterior mexes and positions, because Team 2 is winning the mass game, partly because they built all of their T3 mexes upgrades in their base and they're slowly spreading it because they had to. It was either that or no other mex upgrades, so they had to build from within and out, which is what you should do normally anyways. But we've seen that as Team 1's losing some of their exterior mexes, that number is going to go down, but they should be doing the exact same thing if they haven't started so already. Western side, Forgiato still keeping that production facility online. It's not in the best tactical position because he's on the underside of a little bit of a plateau here, as well as he has this tram expedition that he could go for, which you would think he would build there, but I guess not. But he could have maybe built it here. No, that's probably should have maybe built it here, if not, essentially right next to that tram expedition. But there is an army inbound, a couple of T2 Ilshis, some rhinos. We have but loyalists inbound from the south, though. Again, their EMP weapons do work against T2 units, and they're going to start steamrolling all of these units. Yeah, they will take some damage from the Ilshi's high rate of fire, but it's mainly about dealing with the army inbound to Forgiato's position. That's the main focus, and that's the main army nearby. We see a couple of stacks of forces starting to appear for Team 1's Weed Whacker in the north. And in the east, we see the calm of Rikki Tikki Tavi, but that's really about it. There is a brick online, so that's nice to see. But again, not really a lot of forces from Team 1 or Team 2 here at this point, just because they've mainly been dealt with for the time being. We do see, I think everybody from Team 1 has retreated, except for Weed Whacker in the north, to their main bases or main bases adjacent. Forgiato looks like he's the only one on the front line. Everybody else on Team 2 is either in their main base or main base adjacent. We do see those gunships still stacking up from Team 2. You might try to snipe somebody with some gunships, but now with everybody essentially in their main bases, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Besides, again, Weed Whacker. But does he have some flak nearby? He has some T3 and some T2. I love the mixture, of course. And probably the Pigeon's probably not the best thing to have next to it, but besides that, he should be fine unless Team 2 really just full sends it on the comm. And then maybe Legendlord gets another base and he's on 4 bases. But again, it would drop another player of the game. We have half of the players dead at 21 minutes. Team 2 is at 760 mass income. Team 1's at 680, so about 80 or so mass in Team 2's favor. So we will see if that ends up working in their favor or not. More air grid being built. SMD going to be built. Love to see it. And it's going to be underneath shielding. Also love to see that immediately. That way the SMD isn't an easy target. Would like to see maybe an SMD shared between those bases, and then maybe an SMD shared between those bases, and that should cover everything for Team 2. And for Team 1, any sort of big surprises maybe Ooh, Monkey Lord started for Legend Lords. That's kind of a big surprise. Laser's still being built, but it is definitely a heftier upgrade. But Team 2's player of Death by Succubus launching a full frontal assault on the kind of more midpoint between Weed Whacker's frontline base over here to the west, and then the 2 bases over here. And there's a lot of collapsing happening from Team 1 to deal with this. Decent amount of bricks to the east, some mongoose, some flat. Actually, there's some T3 Cougars mixed in, but some Titans also mixed in. So those loyalists and other units. There's a brick or 2, but they're just being outnumbered and outgunned quite considerably. So definitely a nice win for Team 1. But it does allow Death by Succubus to get an experimental online. It is a GC, so he had access to UEF, Aeon, and Cybrin, and went with the GC from the Aeon. Actually, maybe he should have access to Cybrin Tech, I thought. He should have access. Yeah, over here. Yeah. So he went with that one. It isn't the cheapest one, of course. The cheapest one is the Monkey Lord, but it is built before the Monkey Lord, so there's that. That is the benefit of having all of that mass, especially with 500 mass now coming into his pockets every single second. It does make a huge difference. We see a couple of roaming bands of bricks over here to the east, just cleaning out some, scooping up engineer reclaim. We do see some Titans and a couple of Percys mixed in as well from Rikki Tikki Tavi. A lot of those T3 mainline units starting to make their appearance, and some of those bricks do escape that army from Legend Lore. And granted, there is a base here. Their PD are being eliminated as we speak. It's a mix or 2 with a T2 radar situation, which is upgraded to T3, which is definitely going to be a little bit of a loss, unfortunately, for Team 1. But they do have other positions where they could probably build a better one. We do see an Omni could be built in this base over here. That would be the best place to build it, to be fair, but it's not going to be built there, at least as of right now. We just the remaining bricks for Forgiato being just ripped apart by the Titans. Eventually, the Titans will chew through all the hit points, not known for their damage, but they're known, of course, for their fire rate. Also being backed up by mongoose. The little brothers, I always say, to the Percy, because they look a lot closer to the Percy than they do the Titan. Granted, they have one working arm with the grenade launcher versus the Percy, which has only one working arm. Ooh, he is going to go for Telemazer immediately. I don't know if he's going to use it immediately or if he's just going to wait. But it is going to cost a lot of power to run that thing. And he's at 40% now. He's putting a lot of emphasis on that upgrade. He needs to make that pay off, either kill off a player on team 2, kill off the air grid, or someone in between. Losing another player at this time, especially the one that has 4 bases online, well, 3 bases, but then obviously this is technically a base. Probably not the best idea for either team, especially with the GC from team 2 running around. They need to make sure they get value out of that. Of course, its arms are freaking out because it's too cold. There are bricks moving in to intercept from Team 1, but there are bricks from Team 2 to back up the GC. And that inverted laser really, easy to spot on the, again, very white environment. Bricks focusing down the GC from Team 2 and the bricks from Team 2 focusing down, obviously, the only thing in sight, which is the bricks. A little bit of a wall section for Team 2. No AA, which I feel like is kind of a blind spot for Team 2, at least as of right now, but for the most part, there isn't anything from Team 1. They do have some ASFs nearby, so that technically counts as their AA, to be fair. A couple of Ravagers were built by Team 1's Rikki Tikki Tavi and an artillery piece, which that's not going to get a lot of work done because it was just newly minted. And the GC has taken a decent chunk of damage. About 50% or so of its hit points are now gone. There is a chicken inbound. There is that Monkey Lord that has now been built. That will be able to intercept the GC. But again, we'll see if it makes a difference. If the bricks are there nearby, it would make a difference. But we'll see if that GC pulls back or not. We do see... Actually, those Ravagers were not dealt with, so it is going to still do damage to the GC's hit points, which I feel like is kind of an oversight. It's something. It's not a lot of damage, but it's enough. I will note that the chicken will win this fight, even with the bricks assisting. The bricks will not be able to help kill that off in time before the GC dies. And we do see the bricks are actually trying to get someone around the chickens. That way, their cannons will take a little bit longer to... will obviously open up and fire, but of course, because of the AoE on board the second and the tertiary weapon system, it is good to spread out those forces a little bit more. The chicken will die in the mixture of those bricks, so probably one of those things where those bricks will just die due to the ion storm, and Team 1 will reap the benefits from the reclaim, so I think at a bare minimum they get that. We do see Tac Missile done for Weed Whacker. I think that's the only upgrade on board, and he's trying to stack up a force. And in the south, I knew I would miss it. Death by Succubus, killed up by Legend Lore 2's Telemazer. I don't think he would use it immediately, but he did. And that is going to be a huge win for Team 1. All of the explosion, all of the nonsense. And T3 Mex is being eliminated. Team 2 drops to 2 players left, leaving just Wasp and Forgiato. Team 1, of course, has 3 players left, and he's getting immense value from this. There's another T3 Mex dead. This is not good for Team 2 long term. All of the power, all of the everything. Is he teleporting away now? Looks like he is. He's going to teleport back home. He could maybe try to snipe somebody else on Team 2, but they are prepping defenses as we speak, so probably not the best idea right now. But maybe, I guess it might be worth it to maybe snipe one of the other bases. And he's going to make it home here shortly. And there he goes, going home. Team 2, we do see that chicken moving in on the eastern side. Monkey Lord inbound. That Monkey Lord will not be enough to defeat this force, even if it only goes after the chicken. Or even if it only goes after the forces, the Team 1s and T2s and T3s. Looks like Billy says Signal Runner. Yep, it is a Billy started here for Team 1's Weed Whacker. And he's going for Billy Nuke. He has the T3 engineering suite on board, so we went T2, T3 missile, and then Billy Nuke, which also works. If you're not going to use the TAC missile, that actually is a better way to build it, just because you get all of the extra engineering power first, and then you spam build the 2 upgrades. We do see Monkey Lord will engage on the little bit, not say a blind side of the chicken, but trying to get in and around it. But the chicken will turn a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. No. Okay, well, it's going to be a lot of value for the Monkey Lord, and it will actually wipe out the chicken before it actually has a time to turn a... Wow, that's gotta hurt. So Team 1 gets immense value out of that Monkey Lord, more than it probably definitely should have. And now it's going to be more than enough to deal with the remaining forces, and it may drop to maybe the yellow, but that is a lot of free kills for that Monkey Lord. That is for sure. And we see Nano Repair started for Wasp just in case he gets telemasered or tries to get telemasered. And in the east, another Monkey Lord online for Team 1. Legend Lord trying to pump out as many land experimentals out as much as he can. It looks like another Monkey Lord going to be started, and then an SMD right after that. He doesn't have to worry about air, at least for a little bit, because they're still going to be rebuilding for a while. And he might just dominate with air and experimentals and call it a day. Advanced Nano started for Wasp, and it's nice to have that, but he's in his main base, and it's not really going to save him from a telemaser, to be honest. You want PD, you want other things, which he does have, to be fair, but I just feel like focusing on that's probably not the best idea. It does give him a ton of hit points, so there is that. Western side, Forgiato starting a Monkey Lord on that side, but the game has kind of died down in all of the ramping up of the nonsense with the death by Succubus. We do see Monkey Lord now starting to thin out the eastern forces here from Wasp, and it's just not looking good for Team 2. There was a heavy shift in Team 2's direction with those double kill that happened in the middle of the map, but now not really looking too good. We do see another force inbound from Forgiato going after, again, more of those exterior mexes, but Team 1's heavily in the lead for Eco now, 870. Oh, maybe not. Maybe power outages were happening for Team 2 is probably what that's about. Yep, looks like it was a power outage situation. And I will note that this is what Team 2 can see on Team 1 side of the map, and this is what Team 1 can see on Team 2 side of the map. So a little bit maybe more scouting, but he did kill off a whole bunch of stuff here. So it is fair that, it is grayed out because it's been transferred over, but not actually destroyed. Another Monkey Lord online for Legend Lore in the middle here. We have 3 of them. They're mainly concentrated on the eastern side, but I wouldn't be surprised if they start to coalesce maybe towards the middle. There are 2 GCs moving in from Team 2's Wasp, and I will note that there's just a huge vacuum of space. There's 2 of them, actually, in fact, northwest and middle. Southeast is kind of being thinned out now, but there's a huge amount of territory for both teams to expand into. And Team 1 has the advantage. They have the air. They have a nuke that's been started. I don't know if Team 2 sees that or not, which they don't. So that's not going to go good for Team 1. Unless they get some SMDs online. There is one here, and it is loaded, and there is one here, and it's not loaded yet, but it should be loaded by the time that the nuke is loaded. This base might not be within the realm of protection for Team 2's SMDs. No, I don't think it's in range. So that middle base will blow up probably if Team 1 targets it, but there's not really that much there at this point anyway, so it's not really worth the nuke. And Reclaim says Dead 6. Yeah, there is a lot of Reclaim on the map, currently sitting at 221,000. A lot of it is over here where those experimentals were hanging out earlier. Team 1 securing the fields as we speak. Nothing really on Team 2's side of the engagement that they have, especially these 2 GCs. If they do send them in, they could probably secure it, but it is closer to Team 1. I wouldn't be surprised if they just send in all the Monkey Lords to deal with it. There is that third one that was... No, it's still down here. And I don't know if it's going for that main base, but that might be a oversight for Team 2. There's really nothing to do with it really being the keyword in that statement, because there's no experimental, there's no land forces. There's a couple of Authams being built, but nothing too crazy. Again, this is the Monkey Lord that's almost at 5-star vet now. Sorry, is at 5-star vet now, and having some issues with that little mound there. Don't know why I couldn't go around it that south way, but whatever. Another mexes are being eliminated, so this eastern front is just not looking good. And Dead 6 says upgrade, talking about mexes, so Dead 6 trying to help out his teammate from Beyond the Grave. Love to see that cooperation there from Team 1. And where did that Billy Nuke from Weed Whacker go? Where is Weed Whacker's comm? Where are you? Oh, you're over here. There you are. He's just hanging out. He has his Billy Nuke loaded. He hasn't fired it yet, but looks like he's just waiting a little bit of time. And that Monkey Lord is moving in. We do see a couple of bricks, and Autumn's trying to catch up to it. But again, I think the not the damage has been done, but the time to deal with it is definitely not here anymore. We do see That gun splash has been started for Wasp's comms, so really trying to do a lot of damage with the commander. It's probably just telemaser defense on board, but the Microwave not going after the base, going to go after all the units. I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity, and walking right into PD. We have gunships, we have bombers, we have bricks, we have PD, we have everything in the kitchen sink being thrown at this thing. And facilities are being wiped out, and yeah, it's, you know, reducing the production of Team 2, but could have gone after this and wiped out more pigeons, tried to maybe go after the comm, but I don't know. Probably that's a missed opportunity, I think, for Team 1's Legend Lord, but maybe he's focused on something else. Maybe he selected it by accident and sending it northward, because he's sending it away from everything, and it's not going to save the Monkey Lord in time. It's probably going to die. And I say probably, it might actually not die at this point. 7,000 hit points and staying roughly steady, and he's actually going to get it away from the combat. So he carved a chunk out of Team 2's eastern front and said, yep, I'm going to take it home with me, bye. Rush Cloak says dead 6. I mean, he has teleporter and laser. I mean, unless he wants to hide in the northeastern corner, I don't think he really needs cloaking. We do see bomb has been deployed. Billy Nuke is now being deployed against Team 2's Forgiato, and Nuke should have been loaded by now. No, almost. It's almost loaded. And Monkey Lord trying to be caught up to, but now it's up to 11,000 hit points, and it's going home. There's no catching up to it at this point. And Gunsplash still almost done here for Wasp, and Nuke is inbound. Question is, where did it go? It's going for Forgiato's position. He knows it's coming for him. He's just walking into that crab there. That's not a good look there, but he should be out of there here shortly. Oh no, the Nuke should be out of range by the time he moves at least a couple more meters. It was kind of closer to this position right here, so maybe... Oh, it might clip him. Ooh, that's going to be close. Let's see if he gets out of range. He does. Kaboom! Wipes out all of the stuff. The Megalith is pretty much dead at this point. Even if he does finish it, it's not really going to be worth it. And it's just not looking good on that western front for Team 2. We do see a counterattack is now inbound, but Billy Nuke is going to deploy right in the middle of that little army there, and actually gets redirected to Weed Whacker's comm. He sees it, and he gets out of range. He might actually still get kill it. He doesn't get out of range, and he gets clipped. Loses a huge chunk of his hit points. So nice redirection systems on board that Loyalist there. So came in clutch for him. We do see Monkey Lord is moving in to try to catch up to the Fat Boy who is running away from the army. And in the south, we see that same Megalith now being shot at by something. But there's 2 GCs there, and that should be more than enough to deal with it. And that Monkey looks like it's going to just be collapsed upon by that Monkey Lord from Team 2's Forgiato. But the laser is still hitting the shield and has moments to live. And let's see if it can live long enough. But no, it is not going to be enough. And now Weed Whacker's comms right here. If Team 2 notices, which they do, and they kill off Weed Whacker's comm. It's now a 2v2 game now between Team 1's Legend Lord 2 and Weed Whacker. But we have a GC in the base. There is Legend Lord's commander. Again, he does have the laser on board. He's going to go after the pigeons. He was building an artillery, but no, wasn't enough to kill off the pigeon. He will kill off this one, though. But maybe kill off this one as well. Yep, kills off both of those. Wipes out a little bit of power, but he has an air facility, so he's fine on power. But he is started a T3 artillery emplacement. He encircles it with air facilities, which is weird. You don't expect that, but I think that's probably why he did that. It's barely been started, though. Team 2 on the eastern front, though, is mounting a counterattack. We see Harbingers being deployed, not necessarily enough for a host, but, you know, they are starting to get up in those numbers. And southwestern side definitely needs to build an SMD right here, because that's going to be another target for Team 1 to go after. And Wasp does have... He spent all that time building the splash upgrade, and then he cancels it, I guess. Maybe he tried to build something else and just didn't notice and forgot. I don't know, but I don't know. Anyway, gunships being deployed by Legend Lord probably over here to the east. They are being thinned out, though, those forces from Team 2's Wasps. It's just, there's not really a whole lot. There are some gunships here from Ricky Tiki Tavi as well, so they're dealing with those remaining forces quite nicely. And there's some Ravagers, and there's a Fat Boy, so that's more than enough. Oh, look, UEF doing UEF things. UEF doing UEF things. engineers moving in to assist the loading or the construction of that. Oh, and I missed this, but the nuke has been wiped out by Team 2. Looks like maybe a strap bomber wiped it out or something. That's got to hurt. Team 1 launched one nuke, and that was it. Another satellite started for Team 1 up here to the north for Legend Lord. Looks like it was being built by a Weed Whacker, and he will finish off its construction. So the game has kind of quieted down once again. 38 minutes on the clock. Team 1 at 2 players left. Team 2 at 2 players left. Team 2 is winning the eco game just barely at 1.1. Map control. There's a lot of open spaces. I'll say Team 2, but that's just because there's forces done, not necessarily because they have mexes or structures or whatever there. So let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game at 38 minutes. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. And if you have, hit the subscribe, like, all the buttons that YouTube likes to see be pushed, so that YouTube knows that these videos are worth caring about. And I really, really, really do appreciate it, of course. We do see a GC and then 2 going to back it up. We have 1 GC and 1 Fat Boy. And we have a couple of Cougars just raining in shots from the ground to those broadswords. There's also, I think, some flak mixed in as well. Oh, those are just Cougars. And gunships now moving into the GC range, but they are going to get hit by the Cougar fires, so that's going to be that. We do see it's going to be GC versus GC. No hit point advantages in terms of veterancy. It's just going to be straight damage. We do see Fat Boy. That's going to help out, but the 2 GCs are inbound, though, which that Fat Boy will help secure at least the life of this GC from Team 1, but again, those 2 GCs will catch up, and it will have to turn tail and run here shortly. We do see some Team 1 bombers hanging out. Don't know why they're not being deployed, but, they're maybe going to be used. We'll see. And artillery piece for Team 1's in the yellow now. And the satellite is now done for Team 1's Legend Lore as well. Second one started here. Don't know why that one's being reclaimed, but okay. And the GC is now turning tail and running. Fat Boy needs to start backing up immediately to be able to get out of range of those GCs. There is a Myculord inbound. It's mostly newly minted off of its supply line, or its assembly line. And Western Front, nothing big crazy for Team 2. More pigeons, probably needs more shielding, definitely needs more shielding. And more chickens on the eastern side. We do see another GC is inbound, but gunships being deployed to deal with the 2 GCs for Team 1, and from Team 2 on to Team 1. ASFs are inbound. And again, the Whalers do have some AA weapons on board, and that's going to be the end of that GC. And the ASFs move in to engage and then just get thrashed and go home. Legend getting a nice little ball of Whalers operational. Team 1 does have an SMD, and it is loaded. And that artillery is being built very, very quickly. He's actually taken the job of reclaiming that GC and fueling that mass into that artillery piece. The long-range weaponry will soon be online for Team 1. Team 2 needs a way to deal with that, because eventually it's just going to overwhelm them. They have hardly any shielding. They don't have a nuke. They don't have any sort of thing. So it's just not really any plans to end the game. Team 1 has some sort of plans. Another satellite online, and then the second one where Riki Tiki Tavi stopped being reclaimed, I guess. Oh, he's just going to build them here. Never mind. Yeah, probably not the best idea to put it next to a mass fab PGen farm thing, but, hindsight and whatnot. So, anyway. Not really a lot of shielding for the air grid for Team 1 as well. I feel like an artillery for Team 2 would work pretty well. There's a lot of targets to go after, and Team 2 is not really, I guess, focusing on longer range solutions. They're looking for more megaliths and GCs and whatnot, which again can work, but there's a lot of map to traverse, and there's really nothing in the middle of that no man's land that's now formed, so it's not really getting a lot of value out of it. Again, in Team 1 and Team 2's eyes, if they kill off the remaining 2 players, they win the game. So they might just be going for kills at this point, which could work, but we'll see if it does. Satellite over top of the base to the west, and satellite over the top of the base to the east. I like the spreading out, because it does give Team 1 a little bit more eyes in the sky, quite literally, about what Team 2 is up to. And that might prompt Team 2 to go for more shielding. There's an SMB that is heavily exposed, or very, very much exposed. This one over here to the east is a little, obviously, less exposed, because it's actually underneath the shielding. Team 1 spots the comm of Wasp, and maybe... No, I'm not going to move over there. For the air grid, we do see a shield has been built to protect some of the air grid. Love to see that. And Weed Whacker talking about power. Then go after the power. We do have those 2 megawatts right down the front line. And there are AFSIPs waiting to engage those gunships from Team 1's Legend Lore. We do see the gunships are going to be deployed. And is there flak behind them? Yes, there is. There is a lot of bangers moving in to assist those megaliths. One megalith heavily damaged, and the other one is newly minted. The ASFs are flying away. Ooh, that's not a good idea. Those gunships are inbound. They're going to rip apart that first megalith. Oh, yep, there they go. They were not waiting there, and that first megalith is immediately defeated. Second megalith is going to get a lot of those hit points taken off. There is a couple of lightning tanks nearby, but that's... I mean, it's going to kill off all the gunships, to be fair, but those gunships are going to pay the price, and to help stop this two megalith assaults gives them a little bit of time to prep more defenses. There is a monkey that's now started now with the artillery is done. Hives being built on the northern edge to assist with all of the engineering needs. And I mean, realistically, there's another nuke built by Team 1's Legend Lore up here to the north next to that satellite, and another satellite started. So lots of satellites. We do see a little path being illustrated by somebody on Team 2, probably Death by Succubus. And looks like the artillery focusing on Forgiato's base. I guess they're just going to wipe out one player's base and then move on to the next one. That boy moving into range. That should kill off the megalith here shortly. Megalith going to run into some Perseus and all the everything from Team 1. It's just... A lot of that momentum that was going in Team 2's direction was just denied immediately by those gunships. And then argument to be made that the first megalith would have died anyways, but I feel like the second one wouldn't have taken as much damage had the ASFs been there when they initially engaged. So I think kind of a missed opportunity, but you couldn't have saved both for sure. Or at least you couldn't have saved the first one, but maybe could have made the second one survive a little bit longer. Another satellite done for Ricky Tiki Tavi. That's number 2. Number 3 overall for Team 1. Actually, number 4 overall for Team 1. Legend Lore is also getting on the action to the north. Satellite has ripped apart the shielding, and now the pigeons are exposed for that air grid for Team 2. Really, the momentum heavily just ended for Team 2 with the death of Death by Succubus with that teleportation from Legend Lore. So that was a sweet move by him. Sorry I missed it, but of course you'll see it on the little picture-in-picture in the northeast corner of the screen there. Artillery landing near the air grid. Ooh. There goes an air facility, not a pigeon, but an air facility. Sorry, yeah, not a pigeon, and not a shielding, which they definitely want to keep alive. Another shield is down. Pigeon goes down. Shield goes down, and that is the end of the air grid for the most part for Team 2's Wasp. We do see a conga line of units is inbound to the east. There's a GC, there's a Fat Boy, and there's a Monkey Lord online. And again, there is a nuke, so Team 1 might be focusing on SMDs in the base as well. And I don't think Team 1 has enough on the ground, especially with the Fat Boy moving forward. Probably not the best idea. Chicken needs to keep moving. You need to keep moving that chicken if you want to get into range of that Fat Boy. And it's worth it because, again, the other experiments in the game move faster than the Fat Boy, so it actually will catch up at some point. And GC behind. Chicken says Death by Succubus. What? Oh. He's just making a statement? Oh, he's heavily damaged, I think is what he's talking about. And that GC pulls away. You see the experimentals trying to go in different directions, but looks like somebody really wants that Fat Boy dead, and that's going to be the target of the Chicken's Wrath. And the GC's kind of not out of range, but he's walking away and didn't lure away Team 2's forces. And there is that Monkey Lord that's moving in to assist. Another set of gunships is now online. And there is not a lot of flak from Team 2, so they will be able to rip apart both of these experimentals pretty quickly. And I guess there's some bouncers and cougars and stuff from Team 2 nearby, so no, there's still firepower. There's a lot of Ravagers that are opening up. That's not great. And the Monkey Lord, I think, is in range of that Ion Storm, so that's not going to be fun. And it gets hit by that tertiary ball as well. That chicken is heavily being focused on by the gunships of Team 1. And some of those PD are being eliminated. Some of the Ravagers are going to get taken out, but it's just not looking too hot. And the gunships wiped out by the ASFs from Team 2. And Chicken v Monkey fight. And I think Team 1, they'll still come out ahead for the most part. Oh, yep, there goes the Monkey Lord. It wins that fight, and then it gets immediately killed off. Wait, no? Why is it not shooting at the monkey lord anymore? That's kind of weird. There's a brick like right on top of it. That's kind of weird. And why is it not focusing on the monkey lord? There it goes. Okay, that's a lot of free damage from that monkey lord. And Team 1 stops another attack from Team 2, and there's another one moving into the northwest. This one has a lot less up here, so there is that to consider. But artillery landing near Forgiato's base again. Team 1 going for assassinations at this point. And Forgiato is going to be the recipient of the first laser death of the game from the sky. Technically, not Weed Whacker, but Death by Succubus was the first recipient of laser damage, but not from the sky, though. Ooh, gets the shield online. He'll survive for a smidgen longer. Nuke is inbound because SMD is already down. That base will now be blown up, and there it goes. Oh, shield comes back online. Ooh, he's going to build another shield to protect himself. Ooh, not looking good. Oh, and there he goes. Team 2 loses Forgiato. Now it's a 2-1 game at 47.5 minutes. Megalith, 2 of them are inbound. Again, it's another attempt with 2 megas. We have Ythotha coming in again. These megas will be transferred over to Wasp, so he'll have to micro those himself. We do see the chicken is actually getting a nice assistance from the chicken that wasn't even finished. And the nuke lands, wipes out that base. And it's 2 megas versus 1 chicken. The chicken, I don't think will have enough firepower to deal with the mega. Unfortunately for the mega, though, it is close enough with the ion storm will be enough. Laser weapon's not effective unless the direct line of sight, which that little bit of hill is kind of preventing that. Another chicken is inbound. So Team 1 being assaulted from multiple directions. And now it's, oh, why did you go out of the base? Oh, you walked out of the base. That's probably not a good idea. Ooh, Wasp, what are you doing? Needs your shields back online. Ooh, that's not looking good, but I will split the focus because there's a lot of stuff happening. He does get underneath the shielding. And in the northeast, we have Chicken v Monkey fights. Chicken is hopefully going to win that fight. You would think it would win that fight, but maybe not. Chicken's actually going to go over here to the east for Ricky Tiki Tavi's situation. We do see the megas have pretty much been dealt with at this point, and it looks like it's going to go after the... I don't know what it's going to go at. Oh, it stands still. You need to keep walking. Need to keep it walking, especially with the, lightning storm that can spawn. There's the artillery that's right here. We do see some of the shots are landing near stuff near those P-gens. And another laser in the sky is going to be dealt with. Oh, there's the artillery being pinged. We have Wasp's calm to the west there. His shield pops back online. He fires a volley or 2. It does hit the P-gen for that disruptor. The chicken is down. They're focusing on the artillery, not the 2 P-gens that are heavily already damaged. Harbinger and Brick moves into range. The disruptor is down and Wasp is fine. That's unfortunate. Shield is offline. And Team 1 has lost multiple Novaxes. They still have the nuke and the 3 Novaxes to the north, to be fair. And I think that's the attack from Team 2. So they are hemmed in, Team 2 is. He's just underneath shielding at this point. The artillery has been dealt with, but at this point, I mean, all Team 1 really has to do is just full send it on that base. Is there an SMT in that base? There is still an SMB in that base, and they are focusing on it as we speak. So the nuke just has to launch. And that'll be the end of Team 2 for the most part. GC moving in. There's 2 monkeys, though. That should be more than enough to defend. And Ricky Tiki Tap, where is his comm? Oh, he's up here to the northeast, building another facility. So outside of the operation area, at least for now. And GC pulls back to deal with the Percy's. Probably the better call because there is 2 monkeys inbound, or there are 2 monkeys inbound. Ricky Tiki Tavi says kill engineers. And Pigeons are down. SMD is down. T3 Mex is down. Yeah, at this point, there's really nothing left for Team 2. There was a moment of comeback. But that death by Succubus kill definitely set things in motion for Team 1. And there were other moments for Team 2 to come back as well, but I don't think it's not gonna be enough at this point. The Wasp is Still hanging out with his advanced nano comm. He is regenerating 220 hit points a second, so he's doing a pretty good job of surviving the lasers from Team 1. But again, it's one of those things where, yeah, you can survive, but you have nothing left. And it looks like the two monkeys were defeated, actually, by the forces from Team 2. Oh, that GC is heavily damaged, though. I don't know how much work it's going to get done. Monkey Lobe is being built. Ooh, this might be close. The satellites... How's the comm doing? I'm going to go check on that for a second. How's the comm? The comm is fine. He needs more shielding, but he's still pumping out units. And facilities going down. Those aren't really worth it. GC is getting some hit points back from the veterancy. There's a couple of Ravagers being built this way, trying to just help defend. The the air facility for Team 1 is slowly coming into range of that GC. Nuke is outbound. It's gonna go for the base. He has to move or he's dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, yeah, run says death by succubus. He knows it's inbound. GC in the red again. He's almost at another veterancy. He just needs to kill off a couple more things. Oh, he's at 5-star veterancy, but it might not matter. You might have to keep that thing moving, but wipes out a couple of the P-gens, wipes out almost the entire air grid. D3 air headquarters is fine. Nuke is inbound. And did Wasp get out of range? Which it looks like he did. But that's his last main base. Oh, he still has this one over here. Wasps in the yellow. There's 3 satellites over top. Really giving him a pounding. But 1 satellite is not enough to kill a Seraphim commander with advanced nano. He probably, if he had some veterancy, he probably would survive a little bit better, to be honest. He'd have a lot more hit points, to be fair, but I don't think he's getting out of range. Or getting out of range. Getting out of the fire. Oh, there he is. Team 1 finally gets the kill on Wasp. That is a victory game for Kaz, says God of War. And that is a win, 53.5 minutes. Team 2 did considering the state that they were in, they did pretty well. And I will note that there is that Megalith over here, pretty much no damage done to it. He does have an opportunity to maybe go after these nukes and the Novaxes. Maybe had Team 2 pushed in a little bit over here. That would have made a difference and wiped out those Novaxes instead of going this way. But they even know they were there. They didn't know they were there, so that doesn't help. But that is the game here, folks. Thanks so much for watching to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't, because why not at this point, hit the like video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the time and attention to give to these videos. This was a good game. There was, some times where it was kind of, lull on the action, but the moments that there was action, it was good action. So again, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see all of you in the next one.